Hello, everybody, and welcome back to League 7. My name is Felix of Virtual Witchcraft, here today with the illustrious League 7 team. I am joined by J-Guard and OTPHJ, two phenomenal players who have agreed against their better judgment to join me in the booth today as we go over a few highlights, where the standings are, and introduce you to the very beginning of Newt's Season 4. Jay, OTP, welcome in, guys.
Thank you very much, Virtual. And before we get started, wanted to give a big shout out to Virtual. They have been amazing at getting everything set up, put in a lot of hard work, so I really hope you guys enjoy this upcoming show.
Absolutely, Virtual. You're the GOAT. It's fantastic to have you back. Excited to see what you put together here for us as we obviously head into Newts. And obviously, we're going to kick off with the play-in tournament this afternoon. So it's going to be great to watch.
That we are. And let me tell you guys, it is fantastic to be back. Been a lot of stuff happening on my side of things, but I won't bore you with the details. Let me tell you guys, there's a lot of exciting stuff happening here today, so let's go ahead and start getting into it. For those of you just joining us today, if you haven't already, be sure to follow us over on our Discord with League 7, which you can find through a link at league7.gg, our official website. We are a esports league series based around the Quidditch Champions game. Obviously, if you haven't heard of it, well, a lot of people have, but that is a-okay. It is not too late to start. Though Season 4 is coming to a conclusion, Season 5 is just around the corner, and let me tell you, the competition is fierce. Right now, we have just concluded our OWLs format, which is leading into the NEWTs. If you know anything about the Harry Potter canon, you know that these are two of the most difficult testings within the wizarding world. So let's go ahead and start getting you guys introduced to the standings as they are, with all of these teams having fought so hard to get to where they are today. So taking a look at the League 7 website, we can see that there are quite a few teams that have gone into the standings who have two divisions, the bag shots and the bins, based around well-known history of magic topics, which of course is the theme of this season. We are making magical history here today. Within the bag shot division, we have Thin Ice, Velcro 2, Dumbledore's Army, Wildcard Hagrids, Butterbeer Bandits, and the Order of the Phoenoobs. Within the Bins division, we have Team Pumpkin Snatch, the Chadley Cannons, Nimbus Nighthawks, Horcrux Hunters, Avenging Angels, and the team formerly known as Hellfire Hogs. Now, each of these teams over the past few months have been competing against one another, both within and within both of their divisions, or both within their divisions and within both divisions, to see where they stand leading into the NEWTs today. As you can see, Thin Ice has led a prominent game win streak within the bag shots division, coming out with a 100% game win ratio. Total points being scored of 920. Then, within the Bins division, top ranking is Team Pumpkin Snatch with game win ratio of 90.9%. Points scored 940. Now, we're going to be covering a very quick understanding of where we've gotten to this point, but if you guys want to take a look at it yourself, be sure to go over to our league7.gg site, look under Season 4's History of Magic, and you'll be able to find the OWL standings there. Now, obviously, it's one thing to see these two in a separate division, but over the past few weeks, they've also been competing in our cross-divisionals, which, let me tell you, has brought some incredible upsets and some powerful plays from each of these teams. Velcro 2, which within their division had come out as second place, managed to overcome thin ice, placing first place. Similarly, the Hellfire Hogs and Dumbledore's army, as well as the Chadwick Cannons, managed to push forward within their series and come out on top, whilst Team Pumpkin Snatch started to fall back into the lead a bit. However, from what I've heard in whispers, commentary from places, I think it may have been a tactical moveset to take people off their guard. Of course, this is just conjecture. We'll find out later today. Now, we've gone ahead and put together a rather special highlight reel showcasing a few of the last matches that have occurred within the Cross Divisionals. You guys have probably been keeping up on your own time, but as a bit of a refresher, we thought it would be nice to kind of showcase some of the big moments that we saw up to date. So let's go ahead and take a look there. Now, starting off with Dumbledore's Army versus Team Pumpkin Snatch. In this series, let me tell you guys, it was quite, and I do mean quite powerful. But this here.
Virtual, before we jump right into the action, maybe we could go over just some of the results from some of the other teams. Obviously, we weren't able to get all of the VODs. We're not able to show all of the replays here today. Starting off with one of the unfortunate, really good games I wish we were going to have here was the Horcrux Hunters versus the Butterbeer Bandits. Shout out to the Bandits. It was their last L7 game ever. A lot of those players retiring. Unfortunately, they are forfeiting the first play-in game that was going to be starting around this time. And so therefore, the wildcard Hagrids are going to go right on to that next stage and take on the Hogs, I believe. We do, I believe, Virtual, we do have the link, right, for Vin's replay of that series?
Yes, we should have the link for that posted up in chat. If we could get one of our dedicated members to go ahead and send that on into the chat now. We have of course, within our highlights, we've only kind of covered what we had available or what we were able to get to at this time. However, there should be links available to each of the original sources for these videos for everyone to be able to see. That way, you guys can catch up and see how these players moved in action in real time. So we should have Vibin with Vin's VOD with regards to the Horcrux Hunters versus the Butterbeer Bandits. Absolutely fantastic series. If we could get someone to send that out into chat now, that would be fantastic.
Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and grab that. Definitely recommend watching Vibin with Ven. Great Twitch streamer, great player here. That Horcrux series was really insane against the Bandits. It was down to the wire. The Bandits had a lot of really good finishing games there against the Angels. The Angels had a really big win in their series there. So that was fantastic to see. The Horcrux Hunters, again, they really finished the season strong as well. They did fall to Dumbledore's Army, though. Dumbledore's Army had a few really big matches. They fell to TCC, but obviously we're going to chime in and watch one of their matches here against PKS. The Nighthawks as well had a really strong finish, beating both the Wildcard Hagrids and the Order of the Phoenoobs. But the Order of the Phoenoobs actually turned around and beat the Avenging Angels. That was another really, really great series as well. The Hagrids did finish. I believe they had a couple wins at the end, I believe, against the Bandits as well. And so that's kind of just a quick snapshot leading up to the two games we're going to witness from Velcro against PKS and DA, and then, of course, TCC and TI. And I just found the stream, so I'll send the link in chat here.
Perfect.
Also, just wanted to say here, if anyone does have any VODs that they would like to share or, post so that people can, look at them, or maybe some other perspectives that we haven't seen just yet, feel free to send them in. I don't know exactly how we would want to do that just yet, but I'm sure you can find somewhere to throw them in the L7 Discord, and share the love.
Absolutely. Like, we should have a spot for content promotion within Discord. I'm not sure if that's the official place to do it, but I do believe it is the most logical place. Yeah, so be sure to send in those VODs, guys. We want to be able to showcase all of you in action. It means a lot to us to be able to bring this entire community together so that we can enjoy the game of Quidditch and showcase some of the prominent plays that have occurred throughout the series to date. And thank you for reminding me too, we do actually have the full standings here right now for the end of OWLs and moving into NEWTs, which will give you an idea of what we're to expect a little later. So let me break this down first before we get into those highlight reels I so promised. So, Owl standings as they are today. In 12th place, we have the Order of the Phoenix. 11th place, Butterbeer Bandits. 10th place, Avenging Angels. 9th place, Wildcard Hagrids. 8th place, Hellfire Hogs. 7th place, Horcrux Hunters. 6th place, Nimbus Nighthawks. 5th place, Team Pumpkin Snatch. 4th place, Dumbledore's Army. 3rd place, the Chadley Cannons.
Woo-woo!
2nd place, Velcro 2. And in 1st place, the incumbent, Thin Ice. Let me tell you guys, powerful matchups this season. I will say, especially with the development of the newer meta now, it has been an even more intense series than before. Would you both agree with that, I'd say?
Oh yeah, for sure. Speaking as a Seeker main myself, I was all for it. Trust me. Don't get me wrong. I love carrying the team with the catch here too, right? But I like it. I like when with this new setup, that some mastermind out there concocted. I can't remember his name, but with it being 20 points now for a snitch, and that really allows more focus to be on the chasers. It's been amazing. I think it's been able to highlight everyone else that's on the pitch and make the game more like the Quidditch that we know and love, not just first get the snitch wins. What do you think, OT?
100%. Yeah, I love it. I mean, I just love the overall parity that we've seen this season. A lot of really great teams have made a lot of good improvements. So we're seeing a ton of bangers. I think honestly at this point, anyone can win. It's the most unpredictable season of L7 ever, and we're finally getting into Newts. I do see a welcome or possibly unwelcomed guest just join the booth here.
Oh yes, the illustrious Ketchup. Hello, my friends. Hello. Out. Which, if you guys don't know of Ketchup already, you are missing out. Ketchup has been a Season 0 champion back when we were first getting into the tryouts, making a name for themselves with some powerful beater play. Took a small hiatus sometime, only to come back as a Tri-Wizard champion. Like, wow. And you're actually going to be witnessing some of their gameplay within these highlight reels. Now, unless I'm forgetting anything else, I think we're good to start moving into those reels. Yeah, guys?
Heck yeah,
Let's
go.
do it.
FTH.
All right.
Woo.
Let's do this. So, our first matchup is Dumbledore's Army versus Team Pumpkin Snatch. We're going to go ahead, get you introduced to these players as they showcase probably one of the more intense matchups of the seasons. Again, this would lead to the upset of Team Pumpkin Snatch between their division and the cross-divisionals. Obviously, we're going ahead and getting some impressive beater interference with Ketchup themselves here. Brought the snitch meter on down with some decisive beater KO work, meanwhile keeping the pressure on and attacking each chaser that came their way. As you can see here, between the keepers, the beaters, the chasers, there's so much powerful play going on. and a tied game out the gate moving into the first snitch capture. It looks as if PKS has the lead on the snitch, but Ketchup eliminates PKS's Seeker, allowing their Seeker to get the snitch, with High Phoenix
Wow.
getting it in 4 minutes.
Virtual, I just
48
gotta
seconds left.
say, as a beater, I'm loving this classic matchup here. McCoon, one of the best of all time. Ketchup, one of the best of all time. We've seen them go back and forth, killing each other, killing the Seekers already. This is awesome.
I
I
definitely have to agree. Yep. I personally like Mustard better, but yeah. So,
Hey, it's
but
okay.
Ketchup, he's a fighter for sure.
Oh, more than a fighter, let me tell you. Ketchup has been one of the biggest, and I do mean biggest threats in my Seeker career back in my days of play. I have never doubted Ketchup when it comes down to their capabilities of just powerful beater players, always being on point and decisive with those bludger strikes, knowing when to send it, knowing when to hold it, as well as just coming in there to build that interference, allow the chasers the time to get past the keeper while still maintaining the pressure on the Seeker. And as we saw in that first matchup, leading to 80-40 with Dumbledore's Army leading in Series 1, their plays were the determining factor for not 1, not 2, but 3 snitch captures on side of Dumbledore's
Wow.
Army.
Yeah, that is a shocker. Again, it's a shame that some of these, big time matches weren't able to be streamed. So again, thank you so much, Virtual, for doing this. Because I mean, we just saw it there. Like, who would have expected that heading into game one, right? The strength, the dominance that PKS has, in particular on the snitch game, right? We saw McCoon there on beater, Neo, Tux, right? Like, they just have so much depth there. So Ketchup and Shade, I think this was really their game where they proved, hey, they're ready for newts.
Agreed. It became a point where, whilst watching these matches again, I was just floored by the amount of momentum that both teams were carrying into this. Obviously, the standings can read one thing, but it really is the player development, the chemistry, the actual drive behind each team that will make or break these matches. And as we can see, moving into this match with the intimidating force that is PKS, Dumbledore's Army didn't shy away. Like their namesake, or slightly off-kilter namesake, they proved that the bravery and the determination of the underdog can still carry through, earning them their first win in this series. Now, moving into the second match, you're going to see some very, very similar playthroughs. However, it looks as if PKS had taken a bit of a different approach, a bit more of a defensive style that you'll see here. But of course, will that turn out well for them? You'll see. I think it's important to note that whenever you are in Quidditch, moving on to the defensive side of things can be a bit of a detriment, as it really doesn't allow you that leading advantage. It makes sense to be cautious, but when you start to hold back and you start focusing on like the seeker pressure over the chaser game, sometimes that leads your chasers to be at a bit of a disadvantage. And as we can see here, there is so much pressure going on, but again, Dumbledore's Army manages to capture the snitch within 4 minutes 40 seconds, and the absolute domination that is Ketchup's beater play here fights off against the efforts of Cardi and the rest of the Team Pumpkin Snatch, allowing a second capture at 1 minute 15 seconds left. And you can see here that Oof pushes the letter for Dumbledore's Army. Cardi responds in kind, and you can see just the moment that it's starting to click. The pressure is on. They are forcing this gameplay onward. And right here, if I'm not mistaken, you're going to see a last-minute bludger sent at Cardi's way knocks the quaffle out of their hands, allowing, in this moment, the freedom for Tux to capture, ensuring the second match comes out to a win for Dumbledore's Army, but this time with a narrower lead. Dumbledore's Army leading 60 to 50 in this matchup, securing the match win for Dumbledore's Army. Now, guys.
Wow.
I was just gonna say that just goes to show there like how important it is for the Chasers to be on their A game in these games here, because during the previous rule set that would have been a tied game, gone into overtime, and we would have probably seen other results here. And I can say the same for plenty of other games that were played this season, but for sure, that was a very clutch play for Ketchup to, switch up and go to the Chaser side of things, hit that ball out of Cardi's hand, and secure that win for them.
100%. Cardi was absolutely cooking there. Obviously, with 21st, a really good up and coming chaser as well. They had Tux, although he was on Seeker that match. But nonetheless, just a really strong chaser core, and held off by, shout out to the DA chaser core, Singularity, Oof, Lukey Sis. This trio has come together a long way, with Skipper back there as well, being able to hold off that score gap differential. And they held on for the 1-score win there.
Now, you guys bring up a really good point. When it comes down to the newer meta, obviously, there's a bit of a change from how much impact the Seekers can throw the score off. Do you guys feel as if this gives more, I guess, a sense of importance towards the core Chaser gameplay?
100% for sure.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's still important, for the Chasers to help out on Seeker gameplay every so often here. But as you can see towards the end of that game, right? PKS, either they were down by 30, they still had to focus Chaser the entire time while leaving their Seeker to their own defenses. He still managed to pull through there, but at the very last second, if they were able to capitalize on that score, like I said earlier, it would have been a completely different thing. But, Ketchup also recognized that. Any other time, he would have, not been focusing the Chasers that much. But in this case, he definitely made the right call, pivoted there, and hit those Chasers when needed.
Yeah, I think the meta, the ability to switch up, in particular as a beater, is massive, right? Like, obviously, it's important for the Chasers. But for the beater, and therefore, the entire team cohesively, to just be able to switch up on what do we focus on here? Is this snitch more important, or is getting or preventing a goal more important? And that's what the meta really, to me, has changed. It adds a lot more fluidity throughout the matches. And it's really cool to see teams, respond and game plan accordingly.
And I would say this definitely forces Seeker gameplay to modify itself too. Obviously, in my experience, from playtest and into the development of League 7, from a player's perspective as a Seeker, it becomes a point of I have to be more autonomous. I can't rely solely on my beater to be there 24/7. The Chasers are going to need that increased beater play as well. So, I feel it's kind of forced Seekers to maintain a higher edge than previous seasons. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, don't get me started on those heroes, okay? So, but yeah, honestly, with obviously more focus on Chaser gameplay this season, there's been a lot more, tweaking that Seekers had to do to their normal flight path in order to avoid those heroes that are coming in at a more frequent, more frequently towards you, And trust me, if the team also has to be in cohesion, if there's no call outs or anything like that, very easy to fly right into it.
Yeah.
Alrighty then, guys. So with that first matchup of DA versus PKS, first round had gone to Dumbledore's Army with 80-40. Second round went to Dumbledore's Army with 60-50, securing them that match win, allowing us to move now into Velcro 2 versus Team Pumpkin Snatch. Now, with this lineup within Velcro 2, we've got Dementor, we've got Rishi, we've got Jim Tones, Nanathan, we've got Counttails. It's looking just from that part of the list alone. And this is a powerhouse team. You might not expect it from the absolutely adorable Velcro unicorn up top, but these guys mean business. Then, of course, you cannot discount Team Pumpkin Snatch. There are so many great players on this list. Neo, Marsani, you got Macoon, 21st Q. Oh my gosh, Cardi. Cardi has showcased so much potential within the Chaser gameplay. If I'm not mistaken, Cardi put in the most goals alone within this series. I'm floored by it. And then, of course, Pumpkin Snatch, a well-known keeper within our community now. I think only joined us in season 3 and is now here leading a team and like a full team named after them as well. It's fantastic to see. And
Yeah, it's crazy.
And also, I'm not gonna. I can't overlook Shoni. Shoni, love you, bud. It is
Who's that?
and banned, but this is a powerhouse on both sides. Let me tell you guys. I think within this next matchup, you guys are going to see just what we are in for in these games today. So let's see for the first matchup between Velcro 2 and Team Pumpkin Snatch. It is amazing. Obviously, out of the gate, PKS drives with an early lead, but Velcro 2 responds with Jim finding their momentum and heating up an onslaught, advancing the lead and keeping the pressure high. Now, within this game series, this snitch race was intense. It was neck and neck for the longest, and it almost looked as if Dementor was not going to get this here. However, with Jim's interference, Dementor captures the first snitch at 4 minutes 43 seconds left on the clock. And of course, doesn't stop there. Jim showcases so much precision with the blooder, so much passion in their play, knocking out players, allowing Prophecy to get that goal in. And as you can see here, goes on a tirade, knocking people out, just demonstrating why they are one of the top beaters to date.
Who was that they just knocked out? $200 made me come here? What's that about?
I don't know their official community name, if I'm quite honest.
That's Shoni. That's Shoni.
Ah, that makes so
Yes.
much more sense. I was wondering if Shoni was just sitting on the bench being like, I am the hidden player. But no, that makes more sense. But yeah, as you can see, guys, it looks like in this moment right here, Team Pumpkin Snatch found their footing and managed to come back with a capture of the snitch with Neo. But that only lessens the margin, narrows the gap in the score, 60-40. Tux coming through, showcasing that they have the potential to make this game a win on their side. But Jim is keeping the pressure on, plonking everyone that comes their way, allowing that opening within the Chaser field, keeping Neo on their toes, and manages to burn out the clock with 70-50 in the first matchup.
Wow. To me,
One snap.
obviously Jim is cracked these days. Like, he obviously had a fantastic game, but to me, it's like, shout out to the Chaser core on defense. Shout out to Count Tails. We saw quite a few saves in there. Like, you're facing Tux and Shoni, right? Cardi, 21st. Like, that's as good as it gets on the Chaser side of PKS. And so when you have Prophecy, Tuanella, two of the best, if not the best, defensive chasers in the game. And honestly, you can put Skinny right there as well.
Oh,
Obviously,
of course.
they really shut down with the help of Count Tails. And it's cool, right? It's Count Tails and Prophecy, branching off of CC when they dissolved. They went on to join Pumpkin. And that's got to feel pretty good for those two guys getting that win there.
I'd have to agree. And of course, that fun, that drive, leads itself into their match too. And we see Team Pumpkin Snatch is not to be deterred. With the first goal going over to Velcro 2, we can see here that the play style got a little more erratic. Now, whether that was due to desync or just due to that frenetic energy is left up to interpretation. You'll have to go and watch the entire matchup. Of course, you can see here that the back and forth is strong. Team Pumpkin Snatch keeping Velcro 2 out of the goals as much as possible despite the first one. And Jim Tones coming in, taking some hits, giving plenty more, knocking people out, and allowing Skinny to get that goal in right there. The snitch meter getting dangerously close. Jim taking bludgers, taking hits, whilst the chasers swarm onto the seekers. You don't know who's getting this capture, but Dementor pulls out with 4 minutes, 42 seconds left on the clock, bringing the score 40-0. Team Pumpkin Snatch struggling here to maintain that pressure. It looks as if Velcro 2 is keeping up on their side of the field. Again, Jim Tones just displaying that bloodbath capability, constantly hitting everyone that comes their way, throwing the bludgers, allowing that pressure to rise, even clonking the enemy seeker there a few times just to make sure to bring that snitch meter down enough for a second capture right there.
Yeah, what a
Dementor
performance.
at 1 minute 42 seconds.
Jim and Dementor just showed up really locked in for this series.
They really did. And though Cardi said you're not getting a 80-0 on us, we are putting at least 20 points on the board, bringing the second match of the series, 80-20, second win to the Velcro Unicorns, and second upset for Team Pumpkin Snatch. Boys, what a match.
Oh yeah, that was an incredible match, especially as you mentioned before. I mean, both of these teams were full of, a lot of powerhouses in their own regards. But seeing such a point differential there, really just goes to show it's all about the friends you make along the way, and that cohesion you can build as a team.
It's true.
Yeah, I think Velcro is an absolute powerhouse right now, right? Like Skinny himself on the team, he does his pre-rankings before. We knew they'd be really good, obviously, but everyone looked at Thin Ice, possibly PKS, being mostly CC members as like the favorites here. But Velcro coming in, really showing that they are elite. They also went on to beat obviously mine and Jay's team, TCC. And a really funny part about that is Jim didn't even play in that series. That was all Nana as a beater there, and he absolutely cooked. I wish we had a VOD from that series as well. They have a lot of depth right now, and they're really locked in.
And remember, guys, if you do have VODs of your previous OWL's matchups, be sure to send those in. We would love to cover them at some point in time. And moving into Season 5, be sure to do the same, because we are nothing without you guys. We want you guys to take the spotlight. We want to showcase your capabilities here on the field. And as we have seen today with the matchup between Velcro Unicorns and PKS, never underestimate what any player is capable of. Never think that one team's player makeup is going to determine the immediate win. So as we can see here, between the matchup of Velcro Unicorns and Team Pumpkin Snatch, first game led itself with 70-50 by way of the Velcro Unicorns. Second matchup ending 80-20 for the Velcro Unicorns and securing the win for Velcro 2.
All for the love of the game, too.
All for the love of the game, and we love to see it. Let me tell you guys, this proves that just about any team has the capability to push the letter, to push the envelope, to really take to the stage. And as we move into your favorite team's matchup, let me tell you, I have been a little out of it, I will say. I've been a little out of it for the majority of the season, but I came into it about mid-season, and at first, guys, I gotta say, I thought you guys were an immediate rip on the Chudley Cannons, and I'm just like, ooh,
We are.
I know, but I was like, questionable choice in name, considering the Chudley Cannons' reputation. But let me tell you guys,
As the best team ever, yeah.
yeah. Let's just pray. I think was their. Let's just hope for the best and pray. I think was their motto.
Hope everyone has fun. I think. Yeah.
But you guys showcased that not only did you have fun, but you brought the heat. You were packing in this game. Let me tell you,
Always packing.
This next matchup showcases 3 powerhouse games going left, right, and center, and each game different than the last. I gotta say, the tensions were high, and I was absolutely on my seat for most of this upcoming play. Obviously, you guys have a better understanding of the Chadley Cannon, so given that we have this moment to air on it, why don't you guys go ahead and let us know a little about the team's makeup and what you guys have experienced in this season?
I'll let the captain take it from here, you know. I'm just here to do my thing.
Jay's not allowed to talk about his chasers. So. No, it really, I think, does come down to the chasers. That was our motto last season as DQC. We were AKA Oops All Chasers. Just wanted to build a lineup of really gritty players, gamers, but flex players, chasers that are really good on both ends of the ball, really scrappy, good at punching, understand when to punch, when to swarm the seeker, obviously for Jay there. But yeah, just a lot of versatility on the team here. We were fortunate to bring in some massive players in the offseason, such as Scourge. He's kind of really been our lockdown GOAT this season, in my opinion, on the keeper role. Ray John momentarily, and Odarina has been just lights out. She is our team's leading goal scorer, and back-to-back MVP seasons for her for a reason. But we have so many chasers that we can filter in: Chad, Warden, Saffron, T, alongside Oda. And the biggest thing about this team is everybody trusts each other. People check their ego at the door, and everyone just is in it, for the same reason, ultimately with the goal of winning, but also, having fun and surrounding yourself with other people where, it's at the end of the day, we're playing a game and we're here to enjoy ourselves. So.
Oh yeah. And I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the captain of the practice squad, Glass. You're the GOAT, man. Love you. But yeah. I think
let us have him.
Yeah, I think that OT, summed it up very well. We're all here for the love of the game, and it shows.
And it certainly shows, especially moving into this first match. Let me tell you, it looked like a dead even matchup from the get-go, with Thin Ice being held off from their first goal up until about the first minute or two in. They come in, Dake Blueby, a powerhouse. However, T Dreams responds in kind, making sure that margin, that gap between the score, doesn't get too far. And of course, Jay, I am going to applaud you every single time. That 4 minutes 55 seconds captures the first snitch. However, Thin Ice doesn't keep itself in the back burner. They keep up the pressure with Dake Blueby and Shintasu keeping that quaffle on your side of the pitch, sending it home, tying the game at present at 40-40, but Dake Blueby coming back in, setting another quaffle into the hoops, 40-50. Pressure is on for the Seekers, and you can see, Jay, you were having a time having to fend off everyone as they were swarming you at the end, getting those bumps off at the very end. And as you can see here, Scourge comes in and sweeps the enemy Seeker out of the way for you to get that capture, bringing the score to 60-50 at 1:50 seconds left on the clock. And as you can see, guys, it continues to be a high-pressure, high-stakes first game. Jay getting knocked down by Flyrish, who then goes on to knock out OTP
There I am.
And of course, Flyrish wants to keep that lead for their Seeker. So, Jay,
Definitely bugging me there.
he was on your tail, knocking you down, keeping those scores at 70-50, or 60-50. However, your team responding, keeping the score at 70. Denji gets the capture.
Huge score.
70-70, tie game, moving
8
into the
seconds.
end of the match, moves to overtime, and these guys are moving into a more tactical play. Let me tell you guys, when I was reviewing this VOD, I was on my seat, constantly watching Jay go back and forth with Thin Ice, trying to keep them off of the snitch, the chasers going into tactical plays. You have over here with Saffron constantly keeping that defensive pressure high. And at the very end, T-Dreams, shout out to T-Dreams, with that goal at the very end at, oh my gosh, what was it? A minute and 25 seconds into overtime. Brings the score 80-70 for the first match. Boys,
Let me
you
tell
must have
you.
been celebrating.
Let me tell you, T was so locked in there, right, that he for a second, split second, forgot it was overtime and was like, "We still have a minute 25. Let's go, guys." And we're like, "No, brother, we were in overtime." That was a great
I
game.
think, yeah, time just stopped for everyone. Like, that was definitely the most intense match I've ever been a part of. That overtime was insane. It was so back and forth. Really great job at capturing that virtual. I don't know if you guys could tell, but there was a desync that hit halfway through. So it was just back and forth like crazy. T had a really great steal. He was like biding time to go in and score. We got desync. So we're all cheering. We're like, oh, free goal. Somehow Yukio, who played insane that match, got the desync save, came right back down the other way. Chin almost ended it. I was fortunate enough to get a bludger in there, fumble it back into T's hands, back the other way. Like, it was just so crazy back and forth. And thank God, yeah, T was able to finish it. And, I was happy for him. He deserved that one.
Yeah, shout out to Denji too. I noticed while watching back that gameplay that in overtime is when I got my 4th bump finally, because that dude, he's a slippery one, let me tell you. All right, but yeah, Denji, you're the GOAT.
It's always good to hear lauding and praise
Yeah.
from the enemy team towards their competitors. It is so great to see the sportsmanship and the genuine appreciation each of you have for your techniques. Because let me tell you, Denji is a slippery one, having faced off against them many times on the pit. And it's just amazing to witness you guys go at it. And moving in the match too, though, I feel like there was a bit of a tonal shift, whether it was from Thin Ice playing on an icy mat that allowed them to have that home field advantage. It seemed like you guys were having a bit of a harder time with this matchup. They were keeping you on the defensive. You have Saffron diving in there, grabbing the quaffle wherever possible, and sending it downfield. But Yukio, it's just so difficult to get past. There were many times on here where I was watching, and Yukio was just diving onto the quaffle, blocking each shot, and not to detract from the Seeker game at all. Obviously, you guys were going at it. Denji manages to capture this first snitch early into the game. It seems as if Thin Ice is just having more of a offensive strategy this go around, keeping you guys on the back burner, keeping you guys having to fend off everything, whilst they maintain a powerful lead here. What was going on in your perspective when this was happening, guys? Because obviously I only had like one perspective on this.
At least
Yeah,
from
I mean,
I was gonna say, at least from my point of view, watching from the sidelines, as you can see, I wasn't in this game. Oh man, it was tough watching, but I can definitely tell that Thin Ice was locked in on this one, and that we're gonna have a crazy game 3. Sorry,
Yeah,
T,
the
didn't mean to cut you off.
MVP here. It was all good. I was gonna say the MVP was desync. So Desync won this game single-handedly.
yes.
I'm just playing. I'm playing. The MVP was Yukio. He was impossible to get past. You saw the switch up there. That was intentional. We brought T in on Seeker. We have a lot of trust in him, but also just to change up, the flight pattern recognition. It was, part of the setup for game 3 as
Don't
well.
give the sauce off.
That put Chad in on Chaser. But yeah, the Chasers just got, you saw they played very well defensively. They just couldn't get past Yukio was the big one there.
And
But we talk about Denji being slippery, but with the Seeker game pressure they have behind him, obviously Flyrish is a beast. He was insane this series, but all the Chasers as well. And Jay can attest to that. They just swarm the hell out of you.
yeah, when I was watching through the VOD, let me tell you guys, there was just so much pressure happening by way of Thin Ice, which is to be expected. They still lead to date because of that pressure. And I feel that they have a bit of a expectation, being the winner of last season, to try and maintain that ferocity, which, especially by way of Flyrish, we see they do incredibly well. And Yukio putting up that stalwart defense. However, you guys brought it back in this next match. We have the Chadley Cannons coming out of the gate, forcing Thin Ice to stay sharp. With that first shot in, relatively early into the match, we still see that they aren't getting that same momentum they had the last one. The ice has thawed a little bit on this map, as we see, which may contribute to their to your advantage here. Meanwhile, they're still saying, we're in this. We have the ability to put points on the board. 20 points to 0 at 5 minutes 30 seconds in, and the snitch race is getting tight. Jay, you're swinging on in here, getting those bumps off where you can, and we have Saffron putting in that powerful defensive chaser maneuvers. You're whipping, you're diving. It looks almost as if you were going to concede this first snitch here, as everyone is dogpiling, swarming. Flyrish swings but misses. Jay, capture at 4 minutes 48 seconds, bringing the score 20-20. Tied game. Your team seems to be keeping up with that. Dake only managing to get another goal in after 1 minute and 20 seconds, if I'm not
I was
mistaken.
going to say that first snitch was just crazy pressure, man. All of the arrows on Jay. You see us there swarming on tackles. Like, that was just a dogfight.
Yeah, I like to call
Beautiful.
it the flick of the wrist, you saw that little maneuver. Good one.
That I did. And let me tell you, Saffron had a very phenomenal last-minute save, tackling a chaser just before they got to the goals, ensuring that score didn't widen further. Again,
He's the defensive goat, honestly. Between games 2 and 3, he had 11 stops when we went through the stats there.
and we love to see that. And there you go, Jay, coming at it again. Pressure is high. You are getting hit back and forth, left and right, but you don't give up. You swing, you fly, you manage to just get out of the way and capture at 1 minute 42 seconds with 5 players and 5 players and a bludger headed your way, ensuring that lead of 50-30. Minute left in the game. It looks as if you guys are powerhousing through the rest of this. Saffron keeping up that defensive play, swinging left, swinging right, intercepting the quaffle, sending it downfield. And if I'm not mistaken, we see here T-Dream setting up for a shot, takes it and scores, widening that margin. 60-30, 16 seconds left on the clock. They respond, Shintasu with another beautiful shot. Flyrish sending you down, but it is far too late. The damage has already been done.
Him again.
And there it is. The Chadley Cannons manage to win the series in Game 3 with a score of 60-40. This back and forth play, absolutely phenomenal to behold. Well done, guys. Well
I also
done.
just want to point out there that it wasn't shown really in this video here, but at the very end, as you can see, the last 30 seconds, we scored, and they scored with 16 seconds left, less than 15 seconds later, right? I go down, trust me, I know. It hurt with 10 seconds left on the clock, and Denji was literally a fraction of a second away from catching that snitch, tying up the game and bringing us into overtime, but, you know, somewhat. I mean, Saffron, sitting there, one of those punches there saved us, bought us that little bit of time that we needed at the end for them to not catch. But yeah, it was intense for sure.
And again, well done, guys. As it stands, as we said before, there were quite a few other games moving through the cross divisionals to lead up into any WTs that we weren't able to cover today. However, if you want to go see them, or you have those VODs, be sure to send them our way. We have gone ahead and posted out Vibing with Bins over in the chat in Twitch. Be sure to take a look at that game because the Horcrux Hunters versus the Butterbeer Bandits was a phenomenal one to watch. We just didn't have the time to get it all set and squared for today. Now that said, guys, we're about to be moving into NEWTs here shortly. So let me go ahead and remind you what's currently at stake and who's in what standings. So, if you're just joining on in, OWL standings are as thus: 12th place, the Order of the Phoenix; 11th place, Butterbeer Bandits; 10th place, Avenging Angels; 9th place, Wildcard Hagrids; 8th place, Hellfire Hogs; 7th place, Horcrux Hunters; 6th place, Nimbus Nighthawks; 5th place, Team Pumpkin Snatch; 4th place, Dumbledore's Army; 3rd place, the Chadley Cannons; 2nd place, Velcro 2; and 1st place, Thin Ice. Guys, it has been an absolute pleasure getting you all caught up today. We are going to be moving over into the first round of Newts here shortly. So, don't go away. We'll be right back. And remember, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe where possible. Be sure to follow us over in our Discord that you can find over at league7.gg. And not too long from now, you're going to be witnessing the first match of the NEWTs. So thank you guys. Don't go away. We'll be right with you.